All right, welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Vintage. I picked up a card that I've been looking for a very long time, and finally grabbed it. Had to make some compromises just because of the current market for this particular card, but certainly very pleased with how it turned out. So here it is, the 1934 Goudey Gehrig green, I guess card number 61. And it's in a BVG slab. It's going to come out of this and be sent to PSA. But if you look at this, the centering on this card on the front is absolutely fantastic. So you can get in a little closer. It's got that Mylar baggie in there, which kind of takes away from some of the clarity, I think. Hopefully PSA, when they reholder it, won't use the Mylar bag. But, the surface looks nice. It's got relatively sharp corners, and I don't see any creases. BVG1. So what's the problem? The problem is the back. So you can see this was in an album at one point and peeled off, and the adhesive is still there and some of the paper lost, but that's why it got a 1. But I'll take that any day for, I prefer, it'd be nice to have no paper loss, but, this presents like a PSA 4. And in the absence of that paper loss, this card probably is like a $5,000 card, maybe more. So this went for about what PSA ones go for in the 1 range, but those particular ones don't look anywhere near as nice as this. So I'll take the trade-off. And, what's the worst that could happen when you reholder it in a PSA? First of all, going from a BVG slab to PSA is going to elevate it anyway. And it's not like it could grade lower. And if anything, it might grade higher. And, why do I say that? Is because there's precedent, for paper loss to grade out at maybe, 1.5 or 2. And so here's what I'm talking about. Here's a PSA 2. This is my Cobb. And there's clearly some chunks of paper missing there. And this one came back at 2. Maybe it's a generous grade. But there's that. And then along the same lines of a card that looks really good on the front is, like my Mantle rookie here, this 51 Bowman. It's a 1.5. Again, paper loss. So very little risk, in my opinion. I mean, I guess to play devil's advocate, I suppose if I crack it out and send it in, it comes back an altered or authentic, but that seems unlikely. Like I said, I think people are going to try to alter a card that's been ripped from a photo album or whatever this was in at one time. But yeah, I mean, if you follow my channel for a while, I've been looking for this card for some time. I came close. Back when I was really looking for this card, PWCC had the nicest copies in the PSA 2 to 3 range. And they were at the time from like $1,200 to say $1,600. And this was in early, I think 2019, whenever it was that scandal broke, the trimming scandal. And I just refused to patronize PWCC. I mean, I'm just I wasn't gonna do business with them because of that. So, but they seem to have the nicest copies, and therefore I kind of missed out getting it at those market prices at the time. And then it was probably the fall of 19 where Kit Young, not Kit Young, 707, Levi had a copy on eBay for like 32 something. And I reached out directly, and he was willing to come down to like $29.75 if I sent him a check. And that was still higher than what the market was, and I kind of balked a little bit. And of course, I regret that now. PSA 3, nicely centered. Funny thing was, the eBay listing had a timestamp or a date stamp of 2014. So it had been on eBay for like 5 years and not moved at all. But that's long gone. So I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I would never get this card, because to find nice looking copies, you are in the, the 3, 4, 5 grades. And those just seem to, those haven't been impacted by the pandemic at all. They haven't, come back down to earth. They never went down at all. So here we are. And I guess I settled for this BVG1, so the lowest possible grade, I guess, numerical grade, and the worst possible slab. But this is going to be cracked out, And this is going to be sent to PSA along with my Ted Williams play ball. And I was looking, how do I get it out of here? And I looked on YouTube, and one of the videos that came up was from everybody's friend, what's up, YouTube? Tops 85401 here. He had a video where he cracked out a BVG slab. So you just got to, go in at the corners with the pliers or the clippers or whatever, and carefully with the screwdriver. And since the card is short in the baggie, it'll be easy to cut across. I know some normal size cards, that bag is pretty tight around the edges, so you got to be careful when you're using the scissors. But here it is, long sought after. And what's strange is that I actually was looking for Gehrig. I occasionally will run a search on Goudey Gehrig. And this did not appear in the regular search results. It showed up in the results below, like kind of saying like, well, here are cards that kind of match what you're looking for, but with less words or whatever. And it had somewhat of a busy description title. And maybe that's why. It had no washers on it that I'm aware of. And it went for a lot lower than I thought it would go. Let's put it this way. My snipe was a few $100s higher than what this ultimately ended at. So there it is, the 34 Goudey Gehrig, card number 61. And now that I have this, I'm going to maybe look at getting the yellow copy, which I think actually is more money. But I've always liked this card. And just looking forward to getting this thing reholdered. It might actually look better aesthetically in an SGC slab, but since most of my stuff is PSA, and that's where it's going to go. And I think the nice thing about that is I don't need a membership to PSA to do it. I could just like crack this out and send it off. I think it's like $150 based on the value of the card. So this and the Ted Williams will be a submission. And I got some other PSA stuff I might want to do now that things seem to be kind of settling back down as far as turnaround times and whatnot. So anyway, just a real, again, another one card Friday Night Vintage showcase. Thanks for watching.